So I'll have to link to this article in the description. So please check it out if you want to. So, new story. Buy now, pay later products to be regulated. Interest-free buy now, pay later credit agreements will be regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority in order to protect consumers under plans announced by the government today on the, as you see, 2nd of February 2021. So interest-free buy now, pay later agreements will be regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. So, for example, when you go to a checkout and it gives you the option to buy now, pay later, obviously, and even if they offer interest-free, it needs to be regulated. And the reason that they've put this in and the reason they're doing this is because the person who is entering this agreement to get a interest-free pay later scheme might already be in dire debt, basically, and they don't want to exacerbate the situation further by adding on to your debt. So far, these products have been unregulated. So they've been going on without affordability checks, without so many things. Whereas now, they will have affordability checks going forward when this comes into place, just like any loan, any credit card, and so on. And the way that that protects consumers is that it will prevent someone who can't afford it from being able to increase their debt level. Now, I am talking as someone who has just recently paid off all debts that I had. So, and it took me 10 years to do it. And I have a very keen interest in this now. So, this is a good thing. Believe me, this is a very good thing. It's good for everyone, really, that these sort of things are regulated in the UK. But let me know in those comments down below, is it also regulated where you are if you're not in the UK? Or is this something that really should be regulated where you guys are? So even if interest-free seems, well, it's interest-free, it's not a problem. The problem is, by setting up an agreement to say that you're going to pay later or do monthly installments, little amounts, and so on, you make an assumption that your income is going to be fixed for the coming months. But everything is not clear right now because of the pandemic. You know, unemployment is super high. People are losing their jobs left, right, and center, even until now, even though the pandemic's been going on for a year now, and so on. So it's very important to think about your monthly income. So please check out my calculating your monthly spending power video to work out how much of your money you're spending, basically automatically, or how much of your paycheck is taken from you the second that it comes into your account. Because that was a problem I had, and that's why it took me so long to get out of debt, is because my salary would come in, most of it would disappear in debt payments, which would leave me very little money to work with. It would also leave me with very little money to even escape the debt, so I couldn't even overpay the debt because I had so little left to even like eat food or to survive from. So this is a good thing. Give this a read if you're interested. And they have said that generally these debts tend to be quite low. You see here in the £1,000 or less region, but basically anything that adds to your total, especially if you have a lot of other debt already, could make your life a lot harder and a lot worse. And also as well, by it being regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority, it means that you can escalate your complaints to the Financial Ombudsman Service if things go wrong. So what that means is, and why that is very significant, it means that if you complain directly to the provider of the debt, if you want to call it, or credit, even though technically it's not credit, but in a way it is, and you're not able to resolve things with them directly, you can now actually go to the Financial Ombudsman Service to mitigate the issue. Whereas before this, and before, if it's not regulated by Financial Conduct Authority, then simply what they say goes. And the reason why the Financial Ombudsman Service is, I would say, is probably really, really underrated, like of a service, is because they have the legal power to enforce the lenders to put things right. And that's what happened to me recently. So if you've been watching my videos for a while, you will know that recently I actually won a complaint against my bank for unaffordable lending. And I went to the bank directly. I wasn't able to resolve it with the bank. I then went through the financial ombudsman service, and then we reached a good conclusion. And I received good compensation, let me say, for the service they provided. If the financial ombudsman service didn't exist or they didn't have the power to intervene, then simply the bank's opinion is simply I had no case, even though I then won from the financial ombudsman service point of view. So this, to me, is a very significant sentence right here. This is a big thing because do not underestimate the power the financial ombudsman service has. You know, they can put things right for you if you're not able to resolve with them directly. But the best way to avoid these issues is to not allow them to happen to begin with. And that is what they're now trying their best to do, to make sure that the risk to consumers is as low as possible and that things are properly regulated. And basically, there is a level of, I would say, responsibility to not put yourself in that situation, but you might be unaware that you're even putting yourself in the situation to begin with. Maybe you don't know much about money. Maybe you've never thought about it. Maybe you're just like, I need to buy this now. I don't care what it takes. But that's why these regulations come in, is to make sure that people don't do that. And it's for your own good. It's not to bully you. It's not to hurt you. It's not to anything. It's to protect you, to stop ugly situations that, like, later on. Because the ugly situations later on could be you're in debt, it could lead to a lot of mental health problems. It could lead to physical health problems if you can't afford to eat anymore. It could lead to a whole list of bad things. So managing money is very, very important. That's why I've set up this whole channel, is about managing your money, personal finance, and so on, and how I myself have been able to work myself out of debt and what I'm doing to make sure I don't end up back in debt in the future. So let me know in the comments down below. Are you using any buy now, pay later agreements? Have you thought about what effect it could have on you? Or do you tend to favor just buying only products that you can afford to buy? So yeah. So, and like I said, link to this in the description if you want to read it. This is, to me, this is great news. This is really, really, really good, based on my own experience of debt.